Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So behind me is the 2022 Audi RSQ8. Huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this SUV for me today. Definitely check out their website. They have a lot of awesome inventory. That link is down in the description. The RSQ8 that you see behind me is finished off in Mythos Black Metallic, and they have a starting MSRP right around $121,000. And we'll move on to what powers this RSQ8. Underneath the hood is the 4-liter twin-turbo V8 paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission. This pumps out 591 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the Quattro all-wheel drive system. This weighs in right around 5,400 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds with a top speed of 189 miles an hour. And it has a fuel capacity of 22.5 gallons. You'll expect to see around 13 miles per gallon in the city and 19 out on the highway. This has a wheelbase of 117.9 inches. Its overall length is 197.3. It has a width of 78.7 and a height of 66.7 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this RSQ8, let's start off with the hexagonal grille finished off in gloss black. This model has the black optics package, so all of the logos are blacked out, and there are plenty of cutouts in this gloss black mesh to provide a lot of cooling to that twin turbo engine. Now this also has a forward facing camera to provide this with better visibility. There's some parking sensors within the grille, along with a sensor on both sides. These are a part of the adaptive cruise and all of that technology, and it just gives it a great look. Even the RSQ8 badge is blacked out, and I love the size of the surround, especially for this model. Gives it a great look. Now on both sides of the grille, there's even more mesh. There's mesh in the very lower section there too to provide better aerodynamics and cooling. There's more parking sensors, even some air inlets in the far corners. And this even has LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals. The turn signals have a really unique design to them. I love the multiple bars that the DRL and the turn signal are made up of, and it's a nice housing for this. And then there's clean lines running down the middle, meeting the top section of that grille very nicely. And as we move on to the side, this has a massive set of wheels. They are 22 by 10 with a multi-spoke design, two-tone finish, very, very large red brake caliper just behind those. This has plenty of stopping power for the size and performance. This has body-colored side mirrors with the camera and a turn signal, and then it has the full panoramic roof along with the roof racks. All of the window trim is blacked out, and it has some nice subtle lines running down the side. I love the indentions for those fender arches, great lines in the lower section too, as well as running the height of the door handles. And it almost has that Sportback style design to it. Very steeply raked rear glass, meeting the rear end very nicely. And in the back here, this has the body colored spoiler with the integrated third brake light. The wiper blade is in the lower section to provide the driver with better visibility. The corners are finished off in gloss black just to tie it in nicely. Now this also has LED taillights, and the connector bar runs right through the middle of the power liftgate to tie them in. This has the Audi badge blacked out along with the backup camera. All of the parking sensors are down below. This has a dual exhaust system with the gloss black tips. There's more gloss black running throughout that rear section. And this even has a maximum towing capacity of 7,700 pounds. So not only does this RSQ8 have performance out on the road, it also has performance for towing. So it is the best of both worlds. Now with the exterior wrapped up, let's make our way to the rear cargo space. I can use the button on the key fob or the one located next to the camera. And as you can tell with some other pieces in here at the moment, there's a good amount of space for any items that you'd like to place. Now on this right side, there's a little bit of an indentation. Over on this left side, there are 2 cargo nets. There's even buttons for the adaptive suspension where you can raise and lower the rear of this. So if you're loading in some items and you need that load height lower, you can lower it down, which is awesome to see. There's also some more storage space up underneath the floor, as well as having the sub. And then with these back seats folded down, that gives you a lot more interior storage for the size of this SUV. Very practical, of course. With the power liftgate, you can close and lock the vehicle. The one on the left side will just close it. And we can make our way to these back seats where you can lock and unlock this door from this door handle, which is very convenient. And the interior on this RSQ8 is very beautiful. There's Alcantara, black leather with red stitching. There's the window controls. You even have automatic sunshades. So the one on this driver's side is currently down. The one on the passenger side is up at the moment. So you can utilize those with these controls here. This has the 17 speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system. There's carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, a good amount of storage space too. And then working our way to these black leather seats with the perforations and the red stitching. RS is up at the top. There's even red accents on the seat belts. Definitely a must for this car. Now, as we hop into the back at 5'10", I have the front seat set at my height. I have plenty of room for my feet and my legs. There's also a net on both sides for additional storage. 2 air vents are right in the middle, and then all of the climate adjustments are just underneath that. So there's actually a dual zone for the rear passengers. There's the fan speed on both sides, along with the temperature. You can either push on the plus and minus or swipe your finger up and down. These are also heated rear seats, which is great to see. You have all the other adjustments for where you'd like the air to go. These back seats also move forwards and backwards. So there's a bar up underneath where I can bring that forwards if you need more cargo space, or you can put it backwards for more leg room. I still have about 2 or 3 inches above my head. These seats are fully reclined at the moment, so there are 2 positions for them. I am very, very comfortable. I could definitely ride around in the back of this vehicle and be super comfortable. Now, right in the middle is the armrest, where there are 2 cup holders if you need to use those. And then you can also fold down the middle seat just by pushing on that button if you need a little bit more space, gaining access into the rear cargo area. And we'll take another look at these seats, which have an amazing design to them. And as far as visibility goes, while that pillar is pretty bulky, you have a lot of glass on either side of it to provide you with a lot of visibility. And this is a great place to be for your backseat passengers. Now, as we move on to the front seats, the door panel's finished off just like the rear. However, this has the addition of all the window controls, the side mirror adjustments, which are power folding and heated, more carbon fiber, all of the seating adjustments, the memory seating adjustments. There's a speaker, the liftgate release. Definitely a luxury interior for this Audi. And then looking at these front seats with RS in the top section, all of that red stitching. And these are automatic seats, so all of those adjustments are down on the side. There's even RSQ8 down on the all-weather floor mat. It is very easy to enter and exit. The door sill is pretty low, and then you can sink right back into these bucket seats. Now, for the steering wheel, this model here is finished off in Alcantara with the red stitching. The RS badge is in the lower section with some brushed aluminum. Now, on this right side is Bluetooth and voice commands, along with volume and tuning for the radio. There's also the RS button, which I'll show. And on this left side, all of these are for the virtual cockpit. Now, over on this left side also is the cruise and adaptive cruise control stock. And then this even has steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. But now it's time to fire up this RSQ8. With my foot on the brake, that button is right in the center. We can bring this to life. And then coming back to this virtual cockpit, currently on the left side is the TAC, on the right side is the miles per hour, and right in the middle you can go through a lot more info using these arrows on the left side. So currently we're looking at the phone when you have that paired. We can also pull up the navigation and view that in full screen, and it also has the zoom feature, so you can zoom in and zoom out, which is really nice to see. There's also some more information like your short and long-term memory. You can look at the driver assistance, any traffic information too. There's consumption and the date and time. Now, if I want to pull up all of this information in a little bit smaller of a view, now we can pull up the TAC right in the middle with power over on that right side. Just by clicking on the view button, all of that information is now over on the far left. So you can still go through the navigation, go through all of that information, but if you want it in a smaller screen and you want that TAC front and center, you can look at all of that information. Now, on the far left and the far right is the engine temperature as well as the fuel gauge, which are fixed. But right in the middle, you have a lot of information to go through. Over on this left side of the steering wheel is all the headlight adjustments. There's carbon fiber, even a small storage bin where you could place some items as needed. Now, there are tweeters in the far corners of the dash that will go up and down. When you shut the vehicle off, they will actually go back in and give it a really nice look. But with the vehicle on, of course, they pop up when you have the music on and going. And right in the middle, there are 2 air vents. They lead all the way to the passenger side. And now let's talk about that 360 camera system. So currently you can see the forward-facing camera with the top-down view. There are a lot of different angles, just depending on what visibility you need. You can see around this entire SUV. For the size of it too, this is very nice to have. There's also a few pinpoints where you can see around it exactly how it's parked and what's surrounding it. So that gives you a lot of visibility. And on the home screen with all these icons, you can go through your radio and media, look at your navigation. If we go into vehicle now and go into the drive select, there's off-road, all-road, comfort, auto, and dynamic. Depending on where you're driving this, you can go into the RS monitor too and pull up a lot more information like your engine oil, coolant, your differentials. You can even swipe over, look at your G-force meter, monitor all of your tire pressure as well as how hot each temperature is. And the last one is your inclinometer, so you can look at all of these vitals just depending on where you are and what you like to see. And then we can go back to the home screen here, look at lighting and visibility. You have your seats. If I go back to home, we can scroll over to this screen where it has the split style. You can look at music, phone, and navigation. There's a few other icons that you can go into. And then on this left side, there's shortcuts to the audio, so you can quickly pull that up. If your phone is paired, you can pull that up too, along with your phone there. And then the navigation is in full screen. So this 10.1 inch screen has a lot to offer. And then working our way down to the 8.6 inch screen, this is basically for all the climate controls along with a few other adjustments. In the top of it, there's the engine start stop feature along with the downhill assist control. If I push on all of those squares, you can actually set presets. So you can have your home address, so you can quickly put that in. There's the garage door openers that you can program. You can even monitor the heads-up display. So currently it's just showing miles per hour. Might be hard to see on camera, but that will actually change when you push on RS2. So when you push on RS1, you will see the drag strip lighting for the tach on both sides. Power and torque is over on that right side. There's a G-force meter on the left side. And now for the heads-up display, it's showing the entire tach along with the oil temperature and your miles per hour. So it gets a little bit more aggressive. There's also RS2, which will turn off traction control. The exhaust note doesn't really get too much louder in the RS setting compared to a non-RS, but it's pretty cool how that screen will change. Over on this right side, you can actually turn off that upper screen if you'd like to. You just tap on it and it will turn back on. And then looking at all of the climate adjustments, this has a dual zone up front. So like the dual zone in the rear, that is up front. Where you have where you'd like the air to go, there's the temperature. If I click on these three buttons, you can get to the heated steering wheel. You can control the rear functions if you need to. And then you can tell the auto along with the heated and ventilated seats. So those adjustments are on both sides. You can sync everything. It's a really nice layout for all of those, and it minimizes the amount of buttons in the middle. Now behind that, there are a few buttons, the engine start stop button, along with volume and tuning for the radio. And then right in the middle, there's a shortcut to the camera system, so you can quickly pull that up as needed. Over on the right side is for the driver assistance. You can have it at basic, individual, or maximum, depending on your driving style. Now behind that, there are two cup holders along with a 12 volt. A nice spot for the key fob if you'd like to place it there. And then looking at the shifter, it's covered in more Alcantara, which is a great plus to see. With the release on the left side, I can push it forwards for reverse. I can go all the way back for drive, even pop it over to the manual setting. So you can shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters. Park is located on the back side of that. And then behind that in brushed aluminum is the electronic parking brake. There is more carbon fiber, brushed aluminum, leather, suede, and even stitching running down both sides, which is fantastic. Right in the middle, we have the center armrest. When I open this up, there's the wireless charging pad along with some auxiliaries, a little bit of storage space in front of it, and you can also adjust this as needed just by pulling on the tab underneath. If you need some more comfort forwards or backwards, you can easily do that. Now on this passenger side, the glove box has plenty of room for all of that information with more carbon fiber and the Quattro badge. We'll take another look at this beautiful interior, very nicely spec'd for this model. And as I mentioned earlier, this does have a sunroof. We have the automatic sunshade too. You can actually open both of them up at the same time. And the sunshade will go all the way to the backseat passengers, providing a lot of light for your interior passengers. There's also some call buttons on the back section, and this has the touch sensitive dome lights. Now that we're behind the wheel of this 2022 Audi RSQ8, this is my first time getting to drive one. And right off the bat, I think this is a phenomenal SUV. For what you're paying for this vehicle, there are so many nice materials on the inside, but you're also paying for the performance. Almost 600 horsepower. This is definitely an insane family SUV. It's also very identical to the Lamborghini Urus, just in the Audi skin. It's a lot more affordable, I would say, even though it's still expensive. It's a lot cheaper than the Urus. So if you're not looking for that type of level, you want something a little bit more under the radar, a little bit less flashy with the Audi, this is still an amazing choice. Personally, I would probably go with this over the Urus, but we have to test out this performance now. So in dynamic mode, I put it over into the manual setting. From second gear, let's give this a little bit of gas. As far as visibility goes, while we're waiting for a second, it is very easy to see all around, even with that pillar in the back. Not quite as bulky from the driver's seat. Wow. And as we come around a turn, just going the speed limit there, you can definitely feel the weight of this, but it carries its weight well for the speeds that I'm going right now. So if you want the best of both worlds, you have a family, you need the practicality of an SUV, you want performance as well, something that you could take on a long trip, you could hit the back roads on the way to wherever you're going, and you can even tow with this, definitely a great option. I think I could get on board with buying these someday. It is very, very nice. And if you just pop it back into all the normal settings, it's just like a normal SUV. You can tone it down with the adaptive suspension. It's going to handle or absorb all these bumps very nicely, and it's quiet. And as we switch over to the POV angle now, I have it in RS1, we have it in the manual setting, and it's already in dynamic. It sounds so good, and it handles well around these turns. Again, just going at a normal rate of speed. I'm sure you could have some fun with this on some back roads, but you also have to keep in mind it still is an SUV, it's still heavy, but it has that straight line performance to it. It's going to take turns fairly well, I think. Obviously not like a sports car would, but you can still retain some of those performance aspects if you are in need of an SUV and you want something that can pretty much hang with any car that's going to pull up next to you. These shifts are very quick too. I love the performance of them. And like I mentioned earlier, super quiet, very, very comfortable to drive. And as we make a quick U-turn, turning radius is pretty tight. Visibility is also great out of this left side there. Over the right shoulder, easy to see around that pillar. Here we go around a turn. You can definitely rip on this a lot more than what I'm doing today. But overall, fantastic SUV if you're looking for something that's performance oriented, has a lot of options and features to go with a reasonable price. You know, starting right around $120,000, you're into some Porsche territory. You're still way under the Lamborghini Urus, obviously. But I think this is a great option. You're competing with some Mercedes-Benz, even the BMWs, but I think the Audi is a fantastic option. I love how this drives, and I love everything that is offered with this model. But I think, unfortunately, that is going to wrap it up for my walk-around review and test drive behind the wheel of this 2022 Audi RSQ8. Once again, huge shout out to Audi Northlake for providing this highly performance oriented SUV for me today. Check out their website. That link will be down in the description. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.